Welcome to a journey through the peak of the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah. This series is designed to take you through the longest chapter of the Holy Book, verse by verse, page by page. For our visual guide, we are following the structure of the standard 15-line Madani Mushaf, used by millions of Hafis and readers across the globe. In this layout, Surah Al-Baqarah spans exactly 48 pages, beginning on page 2 and concluding on page 49. But we are not just reading the words, we are seeking to understand the message. For the interpretation and meaning, we rely on one of the most respected contemporary works of Tafsir, Miraful Qur'an, originally authored by Mufti Muhammad Shafi, and edited and translated under the supervision of the renowned scholar, Mufti Taqi Usmani. Through his insights, we will explore the historical context of the verses, the stories of the prophets, the intricacies of Islamic law, and the spiritual lessons meant for the modern heart. Because this surah is vast, covering 286 verses, it can be overwhelming to digest all at once. To guide you through it, we have divided this journey into 6 distinct acts, encompassing 25 episodes. Act 1 covers the foundations of faith, where we meet the first human, Adam, and the deceptive enemy, Iblis. Act 2 takes us deep into history with the saga of the children of Israel, learning from the mistakes of the past to build a better future. Act 3 focuses on the legacy of Abraham, the building of the Kaaba, and the establishment of our unique Muslim identity. Act 4 is the constitution of the Ummah. Here, we will study the essential laws of society, criminal justice, fasting, and family life. Act 5 brings us powerful stories of life, death, and power, including the epic confrontation between David and Goliath. And finally, Act 6 concludes with the financial system addressing charity, contracts, and the final prayers for our soul. Through this structured approach, we will explore the historical context of the verses, the intricacies of Islamic law, and the spiritual lessons meant for the modern heart. Whether you are following along with the open book in your hands, or simply listening with your heart, this series is your companion in understanding the divine speech. Let us begin. Act 1. We will now hear the recitation of the surah, verses 1 to 20, by Imam Mishri Rashid, Al-Afesi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alif Lam Mim. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون ألا إنهم هم المفسدون ولكن لا يشعرون وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا كما آمن الناس قالوا أنؤمن كما آمن السفهاء ألا إنهم هم السفهاء ولكن لا يعلمون وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم قالوا إنا معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون الله يستهزئ بهم ويمدهم في طغيانهم يعمهون أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت والله محيط بالكافرين يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم إن الله على كل شيء قدير.
Episode 1, The Three Groups, Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 1 to 20, and page 2 to 3. Welcome to the detailed study of Surah Al-Baqarah. We begin at the very beginning, the definition of the human condition. In the first 20 verses of this immense chapter, Allah divides all of humanity into three distinct categories: the believers, the disbelievers, and the hypocrites. Let us explore who they are. Section 1. The challenge and the code. The chapter opens with three mysterious letters, Alif, Lam, Mim. These are known as the huruf muqatat, or disjointed letters. Mufti Taqi Usmani explains that the true meaning of these letters is a secret held between Allah and His Messenger. Why start a book with a secret? To humble the human intellect, it is a signal to the reader. There are things in this universe you cannot grasp with logic alone. You must listen. Immediately following this mystery comes a bold declaration. This is the book. There is no doubt in it, a guidance for the God-fearing. Note the phrase, no doubt. It does not merely mean the author is telling the truth. It implies that the book is so perfect, so balanced, and so miraculous that no fair-minded person could doubt it after examining it. Section 2. The Portrait of the God-fearing, verses 3 to 5. Who is this book for? It is for the Muttaqin, the God-fearing. The Qur'an does not leave this vague. It lists 5 specific qualities that define a true believer. First, they believe in the unseen Bilgabi. This is the dividing line between a materialist and a believer. A materialist believes only what his eyes can see. A Muttaqi trusts the word of the Prophet more than his own eyes. He believes in Allah, the angels, and the resurrection, even though he has never seen them. Second, they establish prayer, ikmatasala. Notice the Quran does not say they do prayer. It says they establish it. Mufti Taqi Usmani explains that this means performing prayer with constancy, at the right times, observing all its etiquettes, and with full focus. It is a disciplined system, not a casual habit. Third, they spend from what we have given them. This includes mandatory charity, zakah, and voluntary kindness. The phrasing "from what we have given them" is crucial. It reminds the wealthy, this money is not yours. You are merely the manager. Spend the master's money where the master commanded. Fourth, they believe in all divine revelations. They accept the Qur'an, but they also honor the original Torah given to Moses and the gospel given to Jesus. A Muslim connects the present to the past, honoring the entire chain of prophethood. Fifth, they have certainty in the hereafter. Not just knowledge, but certainty. They live their lives as if they can clearly see the day of judgment standing right in front of them. For these people, the verse promises falah as ultimate success. This is not just worldly gain, it is the harvest of eternal peace. Section 3, the open rejectors, verses 6 to 7. The second group is the Kuffar, or disbelievers. These are people who do not just lack faith, they actively reject it. The Qur'an says, Allah has set a seal on their hearts and on their hearing. A common question arises here. If God sealed their hearts, how is it their fault? Mufti Taqi Usmani clarifies this deeply. He explains that Allah does not seal a heart without cause. These individuals rejected the truth over and over again. They became so stubborn and arrogant that their capacity to accept good eventually died. The seal is not the cause of their disbelief. It is the punishment for their persistent arrogance. Section 4, the hypocrites, the hidden danger, verses 8 to 16. Now we arrive at the third group. The Qur'an spends only 2 verses on the disbelievers, but 13 verses on this group. Why? Because they are the most dangerous. They are the Munafiqin, the hypocrites. These are people who say with their tongues, "We believe," but deny it in their hearts. Verses 8 through 16 describe their psychology in detail. They suffer from a spiritual disease. Mufti Taqi Usmani identifies this disease as jealousy and doubt. They saw the rise of Islam and hated it, but they joined it outwardly to protect their social status and wealth. The Qur'an exposes their double life. When they are with the Muslims, they say, "We are with you." But when they are alone with their devils, their ringleaders and cynical friends, they say, "We were just mocking them. We are actually with you." They think they are playing a smart game. They think they are deceiving Allah. But the Qur'an says they are only deceiving themselves. They have traded guidance for error. Imagine a merchant who enters a market with gold in his pocket and uses it to buy dust. That is the trade of the hypocrite. They had the chance for salvation, and they sold it for a temporary, fake reputation. Section 5, 2 powerful parables, verses 17 to 20. To make us truly understand the tragedy of the hypocrite, Allah gives us 2 vivid visual examples. The first parable, the fire. Imagine a group of travelers in a pitch-black desert. One of them lights a fire. Suddenly, the light spreads. They can see the path. They can see the dangers like snakes and scorpions. But because their hearts were not sincere, Allah suddenly takes away the light, but leaves the fire. They are left in darkness, but with the burning heat. This represents the hypocrite, who benefits briefly from being called a Muslim in this world. Their life and property are protected, but in the hereafter, the light of faith will vanish, leaving only the fire of punishment. The second parable, the rainstorm. Imagine a terrifying storm at night. Dark clouds, roaring thunder, blinding lightning. The hypocrites are like people caught in this storm. The rain represents the Qur'an, it brings life. But the hypocrites only see the thunder, the hardships, the rules, the sacrifices. They are terrified of it. The verse says, "Whenever the lightning flashes, they walk in it." When Islam brings victory, wealth or ease, they rush forward. But when it becomes dark, they stand still. When Islam demands sacrifice or patience, they freeze and abandon the path. These verses are a mirror. The surah asks us to look at our own reflections. Do we have the certainty of the believer, or do we have the hesitation and opportunism of the hypocrite? This concludes the opening of Surah Al-Baqarah. Join us in the next episode, where the Qur'an issues its first direct command to all of mankind.